Simply put, the successful outcome had been a very near thing. Furthermore, NTSB investigators are professional worriers. On the occasion of this hearing, they were going to release the information they had gleaned and, under the guise of taking sworn testimony from expert witnesses, publicize some of their concerns. What can be done about flocking birds, about jet engines, about water landings, about passenger briefings, about life rafts, about never again requiring people to stand on sinking wings to keep from drowning? What can be done about never again depending on such a chain of good luck? The NTSB is meant to be pure, the speaker of truths no matter how impractical they may be. As an agency, it is built that way. It cannot write regulations, mete out fines, impose technical standards on designs, or force its opinions on its fellow government bureaucracies. It does have the power of subpoena and can swear in people to encourage them to tell the truth, but this is more for show than for meaning. Rarely have people been prosecuted for lying to the NTSB, though people have lied to it plenty of times. In the end, it really only has the power of persuasion at its disposal. Some on the staff call this the power of the raised eyebrow. Their highest hope is for incremental progress measured in years. That was to be the purpose of the hearing now. For 2 full days and part of a third, the NTSB was going to engage with a parade of pilots, officials, and engineers, few of them able to speak in clean English, and most of them wanting to make opening statements using PowerPoint displays. The standard stuff. The facts were known. For the audience, it would be rough going, with no coffee allowed. Those were sultry days in the capital. The sun cooked the haze. Every night thunderstorms roiled the skies overhead. There were probably 20 such hearings happening in the city. This one was held at the NTSB Conference Center, a windowless auditorium 2 levels below the street, across from the Smithsonian Institution, in the hotel and office complex called L'Enfant Plaza. You could certainly feel safe there. Finding it the first morning required navigating through an underground shopping arcade among subdued office workers streaming in from the connected metro station, most wearing identity tags on nylon straps around their necks. You endured the crowd, descended a narrow escalator behind people who could not be bothered to walk down it, and finally came to the auditorium after passing through a security check manned by uniformed guards of Washington's skeptical underclass. Later, in a private moment, I asked several of them if they did not want to sit in on the proceedings, and they laughed. They said they preferred to stay in the anteroom and talk about television. The auditorium had a sloping floor and comfortable seats for about 350 people. It was about half full for the first few hours and nearly empty by day 3. Presiding over the proceedings was an NTSB board member, a former US Airways pilot and safety expert named Robert Sumwalt, who, as it turned out, had once flown the very same airplane involved in the crash. Sumwalt is an avuncular Southerner with a vague or distracted manner, and he seemed to have trouble tracking some of the testimony that followed. His role was largely ceremonial anyway. He sat on a raised platform at the front of the room, flanked by 2 senior staff members, with assistants seated behind. Along the left wall, another raised platform accommodated 2 rows of technical staff, the accident investigators who had done the work and who would conduct the principal questioning. Across from them, along the right wall, was another raised platform, where the witnesses would sit while testifying. Between these 3 platforms, at tables in a well, sat teams from the officially admitted parties, various players deemed to have a stake in the public record of the proceedings. They represented the Federal Aviation Administration, FAA, the manufacturers of the Airbus and the engines, the Flight Attendants Union, the US Airways Pilots Union, and US Airways itself. It was understood that these people had agendas that were largely self-protective, but which they would express only implicitly and in earnest terms of public safety. They, too, would have a chance to question the witnesses for the record. The hearing started on time. Sumwalt read an opening statement, explaining the proceeding in general terms, dismissing any conflict